In this video, we are going to discuss about the definition of agreement, offer, and acceptance. Before we begin, welcome to Sridhar's Lab. An offer followed by an acceptance will form an agreement. An agreement is also called as a promise. Before we discuss about the definition of agreement, let us first understand the meaning of offer and acceptance. Definition of offer or proposal. According to section 2, subsection A of Indian Contract Act 1872, when one person signifies to another his willingness to do or to abstain from doing anything with a view to obtain the assent of that other to such act or abstinence, then he is said to have made a proposal. When a person expresses his willingness to do something or not to do something to another person with a view to get the consent of that other person is called as an offer. For example, Mr. A may be offering his house to Mr. B for rupees 1 lakh. So, this is an offer made by Mr. A to Mr. B. When an offer is made, a minimum of two persons are involved. The person who is making an offer is known as an offerer or proposer or promiser, and the person to whom an offer is made is called as an offeree or promisee. Meaning and definition of acceptance. Acceptance is an expression of willingness by the offeree to be bound by the terms of the offer. When the offeree gives his consent to the offer, then the offer is said to be accepted. As discussed in the previous example, Mr. A has offered to sell his building to Mr. B for rupees 1 lakh. In this case, if Mr. B agrees to buy Mr. A's building, then B is said to have made the acceptance to the offer made by Mr. A. So here it is said to be the offer is being accepted. So the definition of acceptance says, according to Indian Contract Act of 1872, section 2 subsection B, when the offeree signifies his assent to the offer is said to be accepted. So when an offer is accepted, it becomes a promise, which is also called as an agreement. Let us take an example to understand offer and acceptance. Mr. Raju offered to sell his car to Mr. Kumar for rupees 4 lakh. So here Mr. Raju is making an offer to sell his car to Mr. Kumar. So Raju is said to be offerer, Mr. Kumar is said to be offeree, and the consideration here is car and rupees 4 lakh. If Mr. Kumar accept the offer given by Raju, then it is said to be promise. A promise is also called as an agreement. So offer followed by an acceptance is considered to be an agreement. As discussed till now, offer, when accepted, forms a promise. So, the definition given by Indian Contract Act 1872 defines an agreement as every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration for each other is regarded as agreement. Therefore, this definition summarizes that every promise which consists of consideration is called as agreement. Consideration means something in return. In the previous example which we have discussed, Mr. Raju is offering his car to Mr. Kumar, and in return he is getting rupees 4 lakh. So there is something in return. Therefore, that is what we call it as consideration. This is what all about the definition of agreement.